we have new draft props out by Caesars William Hill. 4 of them. Let's check out. We'll start with the first 4 picks. Will they be quarterbacks? Remember, Todd McShay thinks that he projected in his last mock draft, so there's a prop on it. 9-1 on the yes. It would be the first time that would ever happen in the modern era. Next is who will be drafted first. A little head-to-head prop. Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. It's kind of like we know Trevor Lawrence is going 1, but what about the rest? Minus 700 for the BYU QB. Maybe some value on the Buckeyes quarterback. How about head-to-head with Fields and North Dakota State product Trey Lance? Lot to like with Lance, but Fields minus 1,000 head-to-head at Caesars William Hill. And, of course, how things shake out in the trade market will obviously have a domino effect if one of those top teams does trade for a quarterback, and draft position of the last quarterback in the first round. Over under 15.5. So obviously 32 first-round picks. Last year, remember, Jordan Love famously went to the Packers. Dwayne Haskins was picked exactly 15. So the question is maybe Mac Jones could be the guy that one of those playoff teams gets in the later part of the first round. Joe Fortenbaugh back with me. So a lot of interest here on some of these. Is there one that stands out to you?
I love the fact that these are out. I don't necessarily love any of these, but if I was going to play one, Justin Fields at plus 500 to be drafted over Zach Wilson. No disrespect at all to Zach Wilson. He's been fantastic. But what's wrong with Justin Fields? He's got the arm. He's got the speed. He's got the size. He completed 68% of his passes through 3 seasons in college, 67 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He did it between Georgia and Ohio State, so he was playing nothing but high-level competition week in and week out. Are we sure no one at the top is going to fall head over heels in love with that dude to be their franchise guy and take him over Zach Wilson? Again, Wilson is a tremendous prospect, and it's not going to shock me in the least if he goes above Fields. But to just put Fields out there at 5-1 against Wilson, I mean, this kid's got a lot of intangibles. I would take a shot there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think these head-to-head with the big payouts are outrageous. I would take Fields and I would take Lance in the other one. All it takes is one guy. I mean, you're looking at plus 500. That's like a 16% chance. I think there's a 16% chance. We've seen people trade up for Trubisky. We've seen all sorts of quarterbacks drop, whether it's Leinart. I mean, think about the mock drafts we had over the years at the end of December or wherever, going into bowl season. Now, obviously, we have a little bit more intel, and our draft prognosticators are more accurate, but all it takes is one. Baker Mayfield was nowhere on anyone's radar to go 1, and then all of a sudden, those last few days, I believe it was Monday of draft week, then it started leaked out that Cleveland was really high on Baker Mayfield. I don't see why someone could really fall in love with Fields. Now, this, again, behind Lawrence. 500 and what would the other one, 750? I would take both. I don't see how any get worse, so to speak.
Worth a shot.
I mean, there's all smoke screens that come out this time, and they're trying to work the trade market. What if the Jets trade for trade Darnold for another quarterback? And it's crazy. I would not be laying 1,000. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a great point, because we're hearing so much about Wilson now, and we're hearing very little about Fields, which I think is somewhat suspicious.
Why would you lay 1,000 on like human behavior with like misinformation as part of the game that's out? I trust.
You don't trust humans?
I trust Mel Kiper Jr. I trust McShay, obviously, but no one bats 1,000 on this.
Right.
And I would just love to take a flyer on both those underdog prices. Now, let's bring in Anita Marks. Obviously, you are plugged in. You've been to the Combine several years. You have all those connections throughout. Which of these draft props catches your eye?
So how I see this playing out, we all know Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1 overall to Jacksonville. I do believe Zach Wilson goes before Justin Fields. Mac Jones, there's a lot of teams that have fallen in love with him. I do believe that he goes 4th. Now, this is where Trey Lance becomes the wild card. So based on that, how I have those guys playing out, obviously too much juice for me to bet on how I think that's going to play out. The one bet that I will take is that a quarterback will go beyond the 15th pick. Why? Trey Lance. Okay, he is a project. If a general manager out there is going to take a guy who plays in that division with the small, very sample size that we've seen from him, that's going to take some chutzpah. I'm going to use the word chutzpah, okay? For a general manager to take Trey Lance above 15. And really, he's going to be that wild card. Mac Jones, I see him go to Carolina or the New England Patriots. And then it's going to say, what's going to happen with Trey Lance? I can still see him going in the first round, but I think it will be below the 15th pick. So I'm going over 15 and a half. And what are those odds there? Minus 180? Still a little bit too much juice for my liking, but you know what? Out of all the bets that are on the table right now, that's the one that I would play.
Okay, and you have a little bit of curveball in there. Mac Jones going fairly high ahead of Lance. There'll be some other props in the coming days and weeks that maybe there'll be one specific kind of isolating Mac Jones' draft position. Let's bring in Stanford Steve and his chutzpah. Steve, what stands out to you about these early draft props?
I agree with you. I don't understand how you could throw down $1,000. I don't have that in my back pocket on a possible draft pick. I understand everybody's in love with quarterbacks. I will say I think the narrative right now is Fields is obviously getting compared to the last Ohio State quarterback that was taken. That's Dwayne Haskins, and we know what's happened with his future. So I think it's not right that he's been getting looked at in that light. So I love Fields. I'm not willing to lay down $1,000 on a prop bet in an NFL draft possibility.
Right.
That's okay.
It just takes one kind of nincompoop or knucklehead to say, this is my guy. You're like, but Fields is going to be better. You can be right about the future of their NFL career, but wrong about the draft order. That's the head scratcher, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.